Cell with Toyi and the gang. And I'm so to be here tonight, being on this side of the touch cell. It feels so good. It feels so good. Last time I was here, I was on the other side, fielding questions from Auntie. But today I'm here. I'm so happy to be doing this together with my sister. My sister from Sauti, like we say Sauti in Niger. Omolola, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you? Glad to have you here on the show.
Finally. Can you give me a high
Yeah,
five then?
finally.
Yeah, can you give me a high five? High five. High
I'm saying
five.
hello from here.
Yeah, Mola,
Yeah.
interestingly, as I just started this show, the rain started pouring here in Lagos. Tell me what's happening over there.
Well, we are approaching our winter, so it's not a so cold day and cold day, but wearing a sweater here, keeping warm, trying to be
Oh,
making sure
wow.
that I'm keeping warm. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
great, great,
So
great, great.
it's funny that we're doing this show and you're with two people connected with the same cause from two different, like we're in two different locations. Not
Yeah.
the time zone is not very bad, but like it's exciting. Welcome to the show, Yomi, and we're looking forward to you hosting many shows. Yeah.
Hey! That's the power of technology,
Yeah.
people. That's the power of technology. Technology is a leveler. It has leveled everything, and we are so glad that we can do this. We are so glad we can do this. Every Wednesday, we do this on radio, live on radio in Lagos. So you can also follow us on Facebook for that as well. That's 7 p.m. to 30 everywhere on Star 101.5 FM. But if you are not in Lagos, you can still join us. Just join us on Facebook, just the same way you are watching us now at Sammy Update. Now let's come to the show. Today, we are discussing mental health in sickle cell disorder, our pains, our hope, and our future. You know what interests me about this topic? It feels like it's just in tune with the season. This week is Mental Health Awareness Week. It is celebrated every year from the 10th of May to the 16th of May, and today is the 15th of May. Isn't that so fitting? Isn't that so wonderful? Amala, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a very important topic that we're tackling, especially in the awareness week. One of the things that strikes me with sickle cell when we talk about mental awareness is that the very few people that realize that with the invisible disease and the mask that we're all wearing, it takes a toll on our mental state. So it's very important, and statistics have shown that um, sickle cell has a great effect on mental health. So I'm glad that we're talking about this, and for our viewers out there, if you and this is a topic you should listen to, and if you do need help in coping with this, please reach out to the team at Sami. Yeah, thank you. So over
All
to
right.
you. I'm excited to introduce some of these guests. Are they here? Are they in the
Please do
background?
this.
Yomi, tell us what is happening.
Yeah. Yeah, so without further ado, let's bring in our guest. Let's bring in our guest. You know, sometimes when people talk to me about sickle cell, they just tell us, isn't this just about your physical condition? What is it about mental health? So we have our guest today. They'll be telling us about how mental health has a relationship with sickle cell disorder. So Amola, do us the honor, bring them in.
Okay, I don't see anyone yet. So on your side,
I
can
think
you just
Kelvin is in.
yeah, okay. I don't see him yet.
Oh,
Can
wow.
you just let him in? on your side. He's
Yeah.
probably on the background.
While we are having this technical issue, Kelvin, Olufumi, where are you at? Okay, Olufumi in. Amala?
Oh, is she?
Yes, she is. So can we have her in? Kelvin, are you still around, Kelvin?
I think you should let them in. They're in the background. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
It's coming on. Great. Kemi, how are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
hi,
How are
Hey, good
Kemi.
you?
evening.
Lovely to see you on this platform. Great.
Good
How's
evening. Uh,
how's Akure doing? Is it Akure or Ondo? How's this Saturday going there?
it's fine. It's just a little bit cold there. We experience rain and some other things, so a little bit cold. But I'm inside and everywhere is still warm compared to outside.
Everywhere is soft.
Oh,
Great.
yeah, thanks for joining us.
Oluf,
You, I know you're a
who else is
newborn.
joining us?
Congratulations on your bundle of joy once again. And it's lovely to see you. You look
Thank
healthy and
you.
you look refreshing. So thank you for joining us on this platform.
Thank you so
So
much. Thank you so much.
So I'll just take a minute and then we'll wait and see if Olufumi is logging in or Kevin before we dive into the conversation. But we are excited to hear from you. I know you're a self-esteem coach, so I mean this topic itself, I know you're going to do wonders to it. So in a minute, let's just wait while we get other people into the show. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Meanwhile, interestingly, I found out that this year's Mental Health Awareness Week targeted at the nature, connect with nature. If you go online, you see hashtag connect with nature, hashtag connect with nature. So that's telling us how nature can help us in mental health. How people, you just see some posts, you see people probably stay under the tree in a water, in a lake, somewhere cozy, somewhere natural, and they have. I think they are. It's practically more about how nature is helping us manage mental health. What do you think, Kemi? You live in the, let me not say rural, let me just say suburban. How is nature
Mm.
helping you over there? So that I mess your area.
It's okay. It's important to always connect with nature because it helps you. Like some
Okay, I think her
For
network
me,
she just froze. Um,
hey,
have you been able to get Kevin on the into the show because he
not
keeps
yet.
typing. He says I'm at
Not
the backstage, so you need
yet,
to let
but
him in. Sorry, pressure for the first day.
times when you're having a bad day, taking a walk
Yeah.
or going.
Okay. Sorry about that. It's a lot of pressure on your first day. Um, to let in the guest. Yomi,
Mm,
Kevin is still in the background waiting. Um, so have you
yeah.
managed to let him in?
Let me trying to get. I'm trying to work my way through this
I know
application.
it's yeah. Um, even Olufumi is here.
Olufumi is here too. I'm here
Yeah.
saying I at the backstage. Kevin is saying Yomi, I'm here at the backstage. Wow, so what do we do? This share?
She said select a page view or something.
Okay. Kevin,
Oh, good evening, Kevin. Good
Good
evening,
evening, guys.
Kevin. Good evening,
Yomi,
Mr. Kevin. We
Uche.
have Olufumi. Hi, Olufumi. Lovely to
Good
see you as
evening.
usual.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
right,
Thank you.
right,
Thank you.
right. So
So
we're
have you
waiting
managed
for,
to let,
yes, so
yeah. S- So good evening, guys. How's it going in Ibadan? How's it doing in my mother city? How's everything, Olufumi? How are you enjoying your
Okay.
Saturday?
I currently had a flight to Abuja this morning.
Oh,
I had to do one or two things in the course of the week in Abuja. So Ibadan
okay,
is fine. I left Ibadan yesterday. Ibadan is fine, and Abuja
okay,
is fine as well. Yeah.
oh,
Thanks for
okay.
having me here.
Oh,
so
lovely
you
to have
you are
you
in
as
between two
usual.
cities.
Yeah.
Yami, I didn't hear you.
You are in between two cities.
I'm in between two cities. Yeah. You're very right. Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Kevin. Lovely to have you. Where are you joining us from today?
Hello, good evening, guys. How's everyone doing?
Good
We're
evening.
fine,
Fine.
Kevin.
Uh,
So,
I'm here in
while we,
Lagos.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
lovely.
I'm in Lagos. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
thank you for joining us. While we wait for Kemi to join us, we're just going to dive into introductions. Olufumi Ajorin is a sickle cell warrior, an educator, advocate. She's a program host for the Victor and Not a Victim show on sickle cell that she has on YouTube. She holds a master's degree in biochemistry. And welcome to the show, Olufumi Ajorin.
Thank you so
Um,
much for having me, Ma.
thank you so much. Kevin is a massage therapist, educationist, and is a single father of a boy living with sickle cell. He's also a volunteer with one of the sickle cell foundations. Thank you so much for joining us. Without further ado, we're just going to take a deep dive into this topic. Yomi, introduce the topic once again to
Yes,
our
so thank
guests.
you very much, Olufumi. Celebrate you, Calvin. How
Thank,
are you
thank
doing?
you.
Thank
Yes,
you for
so
having me.
great. So our topic today is mental health in sickle cell disorder. Our pains, our hope, and our
Our
future.
future.
I was saying earlier that many times when I talk with people, they tell me that isn't sickle cell just about your physical health? How that you go through crisis, how that you have anemia sometimes, and things like that. Wetin be sickle cell own with mental health? I don't know. Let me. I just break down to street level. So, what is mental health issue with sickle cell? That's what they ask me. So, Olufumi, what do you think about that? How does,
Okay.
yeah?
Okay, sorry to take a deep dive. Olufumi, thank you for coming on the show. We should have asked you like when you found out that you had sickle cell, and then maybe you can give us a brief background on your journey with sickle cell and how it's been so we
Okay.
can understand. So if you can
Okay.
go
Okay.
ahead and explain to
Okay.
us.
Okay. Yeah, before I'll start that now. But Yomi, you can select more than a 4 page so that Kemi can come in.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
Thank you.
getting to know about how mental health came into the whole picture for me. Let's start with your miss question. Mental health is by WHO is like the total well-being. Your spirit, soul, body. You are active. You know what your abilities are. You are able to work and overcome life stressors, and at the same time, you are able to impact your communities. That's mental health, like a total well-being. So for me, anything outside that state, right, is out of normal, is out of being whole mentally, is out of a perfect mental state. So the experience I had with that was at the point of my sickle cell diagnosis. I used to say more often, and I still say that I envy a number of people that get to know when they were younger and they just grew into sickle cell. For me, that wasn't the story. I felt it would be normal if I just grew into sickle cell and they told me probably at the age of 5 that you're different, you have a disorder that you have to manage. But having a life put together at 17, I was already a teenager and I was moving into adulthood already. And at 17, I received that big shock of my life. I was already packaging my life as a normal babe, that everything is okay, everything is all perfect. I know that there are days where I'm out of school, pain that can't be explained, that were linked to a number of things. But I didn't picture it that it was something that was going to change the whole course of my life forever. So at 17, I received that shock. And for me, that was the state where I could say that I wasn't mentally. Then again, I'm out of it now because for me, a lot of things started coming in. I was withdrawing. It started with withdrawal for me. I was withdrawing from the word because I felt like, okay, what does this translate into? Now that you are 17, now that you have sickle cell disorder, you are a lady, it's going to define who you marry. Is going to define if you will even get married, if somebody is going to accept you with that condition. It's going to determine a whole number of things around you. It's going to determine who you relate with, who you accept into your circle of life. Then that was a phase. Then weeks and weeks after, I started getting offended in my parent. I'm the last born and the only one with the disorder. So I felt like life was unfair. Like, why did life choose me? Why will it be Olufumi? Why didn't he choose somebody else in the family? You understand? We all have those thoughts once in a while like that. Like, why? Why will it be me? So that was depressing. At a point, I blamed it over. I remember I had conversations with my mom, and I'm like, this is so unfair. And she broke down. She was like, I didn't know. She was crying. She was like, I didn't know. Like, if I had known, I wouldn't have made that choice for you. I didn't know. I was like, this is so unfair. How would you allow anybody go through this kind of pain in life and all that? So it was a very depressing moment. And I didn't want to relate with anyone. And days went into weeks and it went into months. I realized that I was withdrawing. I was having mood swings. I may greet you today, Yomi, and see you tomorrow and not feel like relating with you because I felt like life treated me unfair. And I had to, in a way, how do we explain that? In a way, transfer that aggression to people around. You understand that? So that was a state, and it was a very bad state to be. So that was my own experience of depression and not being totally whole concerning my mental health.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's a great opening salvo. You. Let me just respond. You said, why did life choose you? It's because you are Olufumi. You know me of Olufumi, Abi. God gave me, so God gave you. That's why life chose you. Kelvin, can you tell us
Okay,
about your
talk.
own experience? Kelvin, tell us about your own experience and how it relates to mental health.
Okay. I really want to applaud Olufumi. I want to applaud her for her take that she just gave now. I was really, really
Thank you,
feeling it, and
Kelvin.
I was trying to relate my own experience as a parent when I discovered that my son, whom I thought was hale and head and hearty, was now given a time frame to live.
Mm.
My
Mm.
world came, my world came crashing down. I had no idea when he was born that he was HBSS.
Wow.
Uh, um, when he clocked 8 months, that is when the sickle gene kicked in and started manifesting. My head already told me, I was like, this is common biology that I did in school now. So, but what is happening? Sick today, tomorrow. But my heart, with sentiment, was refusing to accept what my head was telling me. So one day I just took him for a test without the mother knowing, and lo and behold, it was confirmed that he was SS. So I was wondering how come the labs gave me AS, they gave the mother AA. So I was like, how, where, when? That was it. So they asked me to call the mother. I called her. She came. They had to redo the test. They did mine. Of course, it turned out AS. They did hers. Lo and behold, it was AS as well. But that was how we got to know that our boy was SBSS. I wouldn't lie to you. At that point, my world came to a standstill. So many scenarios came into my head. I don't know what to think. The only thing that was coming was this boy is going to die. This boy is going to die. This boy won't live long. This boy won't live. That was because all I knew about sickle cell was they don't live long. That was then. But it took me like a year plus for me to come to reality to fully let it. That was when it finally sank in, and I was able to tell one or two people. But I was hiding it. I didn't want anyone to know my son was living with sickle cell. That stigma thing and all that. But so far, now as I am now, I came to Sammy. Sammy has strengthened me. Sammy has made me see things in a different light, and mentally, I would say I am balanced now. Mentally, but of course, off and on, I do have those days where I feel as if I should just, drop everything and run away, start life afresh. But then, where will I run to? So that is how it has been for me mentally as a parent. It's not easy. Sometimes it's like that. But when I look at the boy, and of course my friends at Sammy, like this, my Mr. Yomi sitting here, he calls me regularly and he prays with me.
Great.
So basically, it's been a challenge, but so far so good. Mentally, I am at a place where I think it is okay for me.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, great, great. Kelvin,
Thank you.
Amola, before you throw in the next question, please let me just ask Kelvin. I've been praying
Can
for
you
you. Like bring offering, no.
can you just try once again to let Kemi Ogutume in?
Kelvin
She says
again.
she's in the bank. Yeah. And then thank you so much for sharing that story with us, Mr. Kevin, because I know it's this wasn't an easy journey for you. Like thinking that you brought a child into the world and with all these barriers that you're feeling that all the journeys that lie ahead with your child. One thing I would like to ask you is like initially how did you've told us how you dealt with it, how you coped, and how are
Okay.
you coping now? What would you say is different, and how are you helping your son through this journey? um,
Uh,
Thank you for
yeah,
joining
okay.
us, Kemi. We're still sorry, before you answer, we're still talking to Mr. Kevin. He just shared his journey, how he discovered that his son has sickle cell disease and how his mental health is going through it. So thank you. Sorry for keeping you in the background for so long. So we'll come back to you, Kemi, once Mr. Kevin answers this question. Go ahead, Mr. Kevin.
All right. Thank you very much. Right now, like I said, I when I found out my son was living with sickle cell, I went researching I went online, I asked questions. I joined a few sickle cell groups on Facebook here and there. I just basically I wanted to get as much information as possible to help my son. Um, th- then sometime I got in touch with Miss Audrey. I think she's the founder of Audrey Sickle Cell Foundation in Warri. We got talking. I learned some a little from her as well. She was the one that linked me with Sammy, and my journey to mental stability started with Sammy. Like I said here, Yomi, and of course Maureen. Maureen is my, how would I call her now, my counselor of sorts, unofficially. When those times come, I just call on her, send her a message. She talks to me. Um, tells me it is expected. When I see something like this, I don't know how I'm going to cope with it. I've not seen it before. She tells me it is normal. This is how you should deal with it and all that. So, but before now, I wouldn't lie to you guys. It has not been an easy journey. It has not been easy. It is very, very taxing. Especially when there's a crisis. As a single parent, I have no. It's just me and the boy. I have to be in the hospital with him when he's on admission. Like when I used to use the teaching hospital, I'll be there in the children's ward where they are all women taking care of children. I'll be the only man there taking care of a child. I used to feel at odds then, but I looked at it and I'm like, this is my son. This is my son. If I don't do it, who will do it, or who will I do it for? Gradually, I started learning everything possible to the extent where I tell doctors, when doctors come and I said no, this is what I think, this is how it is, and they check and they find out that okay, yes, it is like that. So now, with the things I have learned, the research I have done, my volunteering with Sammy, and one or two other foundations I am with online. I learned so many things that I have to be patient with the boy. It's not just
Wow.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. Because we're running out of time and we must stick to time, let's quickly introduce Kemi to our viewers. Once again, Kemi, the floor is yours. Please, can you just, I know you're self-esteem coach and you're the executive director for Ignite in Akure. Please just tell us your journey to mental health, how you coped your early years as a teenager dealing with sickle cell. Kemi, can you hear us?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, everyone. So coping for me was very challenging because can you hear me?
We
can hear
can.
you.
You can go ahead, Kemi.
So it was very challenging at first. Okay. It was very challenging at first because it was not like sickle cell. People were not attributing what was affecting me with sickle cell. It was more of spiritual. So when people try to come to me and tell you, oh, you are a witch, and I'm looking at them like, I am not. So it was as if people kept denying me of the truth. So it was very hard for me to cope when I was young, very, very hard. And I withdraw very early from people. People did not understand me. Or when you try to talk to the pastor or people that are coming to tell you that, oh, I'm not a witch, they tell you, It's that spirit that's inside you that is talking, it's not her. And you are wondering if you're actually crazy or you are okay. It was very challenging. But I guess like at the age of 18, at the age of 18, that was after my two suicide attempts and all that. That was when I got information about what exactly was happening. See, combining sickle cell with whatever I've been through, the stigma and all that. So that was when I started coping. And to even cope, at that point, I don't know I should see a professional because people were not really relating with what I was going through. People were not relating with it. I couldn't explain to people. Or when you explain to them, they tell you go and pray about it, or you have to go for this fasting, or it was difficult to open up to people that this is was actually what I was going through. So I guess at the age of 18, when I was in the university, undergrad level, I started reading. I started with self-help books, reading, using my phone to read any information, and that was it. At that point in time, I didn't even know that I could see a professional or I could see a therapist that could actually help me. So it wasn't that easy. I really don't want to see somebody going through the same thing now.
Thank you, Kemi. You touched on some very, very important points, because when we talk about mental health among sickle cell, like a lot of people, when you go back to where we're coming from, back in Nigeria, is like they will just think like, okay, this one Ioni, like they just think you're being spoiled, and but what you're going through, you can't explain it to people. I remember when I was a teenager, like I would just have some very, very gray days, and I won't be able to explain it even to my family members. Like, I'm feeling low, and and there are very few people that can relate to it, because sometimes you can't even pin a particular emotion to it. Um, I don't know whether you experienced something like that, Yomi, or how was it for you? Did you ever feel like, because you had sickle cell, you were lacking with your peers, or how was it for you? You can
Well,
also.
absolutely. Probably before I answer that question, I'm trying to draw some parallels between Kemi's story and Olufumi's story. Olufumi got to know for the first time when he was 17. Kemi got to know early, but he didn't do anything until 18 thereabout. So it now makes me look at it that when we grow older about ourselves, and that for me now brings victory that we experience over time. So coming to that question, of course, when you live in a religious society like ours, whatever we can't explain, we mysticize.
Exactly.
So that is exactly what happened. You get to move a from a herbal doctor to a spiritual home. You have to do this. You want to do exorcism and all these myths around sickle cell. And definitely, it gets to affect us mentally. Even things that you know you can do as a person, because of all this air of doubt around you, you until now probably get enough confidence through the knowledge that you build. That is when you can, that's when you break free. And I am so happy that we have our people here today that have broken free from this air of doubt that has been built around sickle cell.
Yeah, definitely. You touch on a very important. I know I'm going to go back to Kemi, and Kemi, you do self-esteem um, coaching classes. What's your journey? Why did you choose that particular topic to focus on with sickle cell? Why was that your passion to coach people? on self-esteem classes? Kemi, can you hear me? I think she froze for there. Welcome
Kemi,
back,
can you
Mr.
hear us?
Kevin.
Kemi, can you hear us?
I think
Yes, I
she
can.
froze a bit. Okay. I think she froze. I'm going to, because of time, I would direct this question to Olufumi, and then Mr. Kevin, you can answer. What would be your tips to anyone living with mental health issues or feeling like they're having low days or their energies are low? How would you tell? What are your first 5 or 3 tips that you can give a young person dealing with this? We can go
Should
with
I
you,
go
ladies
on this
first.
side?
Yeah, ladies
Okay.
first. Yeah.
All right. I think what I do, and I still currently do, I start by understanding my stressors. Know what stresses you. Let's start from there. Sickle cell already is stressful. And if there is anything that needs to be managed, you don't want to add additional stressors to it. And by stressor, I mean anything, just about anything. Jobs can be your stressor, relationships can be your stressor, your parent can stress you sometimes, like that. So I do that often, and I'm being fair to myself. It doesn't even matter what anybody thinks. I understand my stressor. And if I think anybody is coming into me at any particular time in time, I mean, as a stressor for me, I don't mind cutting off the person, shielding myself, just so that the stress doesn't get to me. Because in the long run, it's about me. It's my pain. It's what I go through. This is what we're talking about today: our pain, our hope, our future. It's my pain, and nobody knows what this pain feels like when I feel it. So understand your stressor, then have your tips on how to go about shielding off those stressors. If it's your job, how can you better manage your team? How can you? I have had to learn a coordinator in my workplace. I've had to learn how to be open, to let my team work with me, so that I run a very open system where I don't boss anybody around. And I'm very open. This is how I'm feeling per time. It's looking like pain can come anytime. I'm beginning to have symptoms and signals. And so I'm open about it so that they can help me. So after identifying your stressor, know what tips you can use to shield off and be able to manage those stressors. But most importantly for me, what helped me kick out the ever first time I slipped into depression, and I ever thought of suicide, and I ever felt like life was unfair to me because of sickle cell, was my faith. It was my faith that made me see a bigger picture and say, okay, fine. What if, as Abayomi said just now, what if it is God choosing you? What if it is God saying something and wants to raise a voice through you, to your community, to your nation? You understand that? So you can begin to see the bigger picture. You can begin to see beyond what the symptoms are saying, and that. So let me just stop here so that I can allow Mr. Kevin talk.
So I will shape the question a bit differently for Mr. Kevin. Mr. Kevin, what tips do you think you're using to manage your finding out your son's diagnosis? You've told us having a support group. What tips will you give a younger person that just found that, that has sickle cell and is a teenager? How would you say you should overcome this mental once in a while depression that comes with sickle cell?
Okay. First off, when you discover something like this, it is a huge thing. It would literally throw you off balance. This is something that's going to redefine your life. So you need to have like a support system. That was the first thing I did. I had to look for someone who I could talk with, who I could talk to freely without being judged. And I found out it's a woman that was like a mother figure. You know, she knew my son, she knew the family, so she took it upon herself to every time she would call me to come. She always wanted to make me happy. She would ask me, do I need medication? Because at that point, it so happened that I had no job. So it was like double wahala for the body. It was so serious. So she was a matron at Lutz. So she would call me, I have folic acid, I have this, I have that. So I just told myself, imagine if I had kept quiet for fear of my son being labeled even with sickle cell. And where would I have had the help of the support system? So first off, I would tell such a person to get a support system, someone you can talk to, someone that will be there. You can call at midnight and the person will be there for you without judging you, without, just pick up the phone and say, okay, talk to me, I'm here. First off, you should do that. Then secondly, it is you in this battle. So you have to find what works for you.
Exactly.
Turn a deaf ear to what anybody else says. Anybody is going to be judgmental. Just turn a deaf ear. It is you. Garner as much information as you can, so that you can fight this. So you can fight this thing. Garner as much information as you can, so you can fight it. Then 3, they said that no man is an island. You can, get yourself occupied in activities that will take your mind off this, because surely they will come. It could be people with like minds, it could be other warriors, it could be caregivers. Just get yourself associated with people that are in the same boat with you. That will work for you. Then the last but not the least, you need to understand that you can't come and kill yourself, like they say. You do the little you can and just believe that it is well enough and leave the rest. Like when I started this journey, I wanted to do everything. For instance, of course, as a warrior, there's this stigma when it comes to job. They feel you're not capable and all that. Same thing as a parent. I've had to turn down so many jobs because I have to be there for my son. The working hours were not friendly. I've had jobs where outside Lagos, I had to leave him. I cannot do it. I had zero social life, as in zero. I had to restructure my entire life to fit ease. So you need to do you. And sometimes you need to take time out for yourself and believe in the support system that you have. Not even if it's an hour or 2, you need to breathe. You need to breathe so that you will not break down. This mental health thing we're talking about, it is serious. At a point, I don't think I've told anybody this. Not even my family. No, at a point, I contemplated suicide. At a point, I contemplated suicide. Let me just end it all. So it is a serious issue. It is not easy. It is not at all. So these are the coping mechanisms I have used to be able to cope. And lastly, as a parent, don't blame the child. There are times where I look at the boy and I get annoyed and I do transfer of aggression on him. You understand? I do transfer of aggression, like probably we're going out. I can't jump a bus with him. I need to do Uber. Yeah, I'm here and fro. When I don't have the money, okay, we are. There was this time we were out. Not one time, several times we were out. Probably was sleeping on my legs, and he weed on me. Imagine me in a public bus, and a child whiz on me. I was so embarrassed. How will I stand up? How people look at me and all that. So these are things that you will face. So if you're not strong, if you don't have all the support system in place, you will break down. So basically, these are my coping mechanisms, and this is what I would advise teenager or parents that don't discover they have a child like this. Basically, this is what I've been doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Kevin, thank you for joining us once again. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So can you just give us your tips for coping with mental health illness?
All right, Kemi, before
Mm,
you answer that question, let me
okay.
tell our Kemi, before you answer the question, let me tell our audience that you can actually put your question on the comment box. Your comments, your suggestions, your ideas, your questions, you can post them on the comment box and we are going to be reading them live. Yeah, so Kemi, over to you.
Okay, so coping it involves you having someone that listen to you. You need to have that person around you. It can be a friend, it can be a family. But I think it's always easy for you to get a friend that listen to you, because sometimes you just want to rant, you just want to talk, and me talking, I don't want you to give solution, I don't want you to judge me, I don't want you to criticize me even I made mistake, I just want you to listen to me. So that kind of person is always number one support you need. And you need to have people that can relate with how you're feeling. They can tell you it's okay to cry. You know, sometimes we are taught not to bottle our emotions. It doesn't help with mental health. The more you bottle your emotions, at one day you are going to the emotion is going to explode out. That's it. So you need to express it. You need to express it. So you need somebody to encourage you to express out that emotion. Like, you feel like crying, it's okay to cry. You need someone to tell you. I have a friend like that. I will just tell me, Kemi, what happened now? I say, I just want to say, cry it out. And then when you cry it out, you feel relieved. It's very, very important. You feel relief. And one of these mechanisms I got from a professional, someone that attended to me, is like writing it out, journal it. If you don't have someone that can listen to you, you are in a midst of people who criticize you, who often judge you. Get a book and write it out. Keep writing, because you want to write in that book. You want to tell how you're feeling. Nobody is there. Nobody is going to judge you. Just pick your biro, pick your diary, and start writing. This is how I'm feeling. What caused this feeling? This is what happened. So this person insulted me, and I felt this way. I felt like slapping this person. You are free to write in your journal as you wish, and you can use any language you want as long as you express that feeling. It's very, very important. And the one of the coping mechanisms is that just do something that you love at that point in time. When you are having pause, you can always use this thing. Pause. Maybe you're feeling so bad, just pause on whatever is going on, and go and do something you enjoy. It might be singing, it might be dancing, it might be playing games, it might be reading of novels. Go and do what you enjoy. All these things help me to cope better. I can decide to pause on my work and go. I find it okay to read my novels, pick my novels and start reading. But read as I want. Read your novels, someone that listens to you, and journaling. Journaling also help me a lot. So these three things are very important in coping with mental health challenges.
Kemi, is it cool to start to sit down under the mango tree?
Whatever works,
It's very
available.
okay.
All right, that's nature. Say connect with nature. Great. Amanda, what's next? What's coming?
I mean,
You have any question
we
for me again or Kelvin?
no, we're totally running out of time, and so
Oh,
I'm just
great.
going to round up on the tips. I came across a statistics during the week that said 35% of sickle cell patients suffer depression at one point in time of their lives, and this is due to the fact that sometimes it's trauma from childhood, is stigma, is dealing with constant hospital visits and falling ill. I'm just going to round up what all our guests have said as a matter of tips for people out there that are struggling deep down with their mental health. Is that one, get a support system. Kemi, Fumi have said it. Kevin has said it. For those that enjoy to read, try and get a book, get a journal. For those that want to connect with nature once in a while, go for a walk, but don't go through this journey alone. And then I would, to all our guests that have been here, please just drop your Instagram handles for Kemi. I know it's very important, the work that you're doing with self-esteem and raising that confidence, because a lot of us go through school and the school journey, you're told that you can't do this. This is too complex for you. You are too weak for this. Don't do this, don't do this. And we put ourselves in boxes. And what you're doing is a very important piece of work. And I want to applaud you for the great work you're doing. Please put your Instagram handles there so that people can reach out to you. And Fumi, thank you so much for joining once again.
Thank you.
The podcast that
Thank
you're
you.
doing, you're changing the narrative of the sickle cell journeys, and you're telling people's true stories and how people are overcoming it. Once again, you share your social media handles with the viewers so that they can reach out to you guys. Mr. Kevin, um, we raise our hats up to you and we can say to you that we are family here. And if you can look at each one of us, you can see Olufumi with all our master's degrees here. Your son is going to get those degrees, and
Yeah.
please don't
Yeah.
lose that hope. Don't
Yeah.
lose that hope. It might feel like it's a very difficult journey, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. So we're just going to say over to you, Yomi, to finish up. Thank you once
All right,
again,
thank you
everyone.
very much, Amola, for that great time. What a great time. Oh, let me say a shout out to Audrey. Audrey again. I don't hear you here. Oh. Only for me, it's so great to have you. Yeah, so like Kelvin said, please don't try suicide. No, don't try it. Suicide doesn't help you. In fact, it
It's not.
compounds the situation. It compounds the situation. You will go, but you don't know that you have left a lot of problem for people who are behind you. On the final note, let me just say I want mental so normalized that about people don't have to feel ashamed about speaking up because of the worry or stigma or being judged. That's so key. We want you to be so free to talk about your mental health. Reach out to these people. Reach out to Kelvin, Ada. Reach out to Olufemi and Jorin. Reach out to Kenya. Reach out to us at SAMI. SAMI is Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, and we have been at this. This is going to be our 13th year, so you know that we are doing a great job. So we don't just cater to your physical health; we cater to your mental health. You can. This is home for you. This is home for you. On that note, I would like to say a very big thank you to our guest again. I would like to say thank you to my co-host Omola Ogun. Thank you. Let's again. Let's do this more often. Till we meet you again next week. This is Touch a Cell with Tony and the gang. This is brought to you by Sickle Cell Management Initiative. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys, and
Thank
enjoy the
you.
rest of your weekend.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I guess you're